Welcome back to the lab, folks. Today we're just going to look at a little bit of stuff that came into the lab, mail and otherwise, and discuss how it relates to some projects coming up. So, getting into this one. Okay, this is another noise filter I got, or EMI filter. And this was specifically for DC, and I thought it would be good for putting into projects where I've got a switch mode power supply in them before they go into the device itself, to try and reduce some of the noise and cut out some interference. It's a small little unit, and they come in various current ratings. So as usual, I'll leave a link to all this stuff below. But I think I got this one on AliExpress. Wasn't very expensive, and if they work out, I'll put it on this oscilloscope and frequency generator here, and we'll do a bode plot on it. And if it works out pretty good, I might just employ them as a regular part of my projects. Could be a nice little unit. No prizes for guessing where this one came from. Yeah, it's usually easier to cut it. Ah, yes, super glue. Super glue in little tubes. Now, I don't know about you, but normally when I get super glue and it comes in a bottle, I use it maybe once or twice, and then the bottle hardens, oxygen gets in or water gets in, and the cyanoacrylate hardens up, and that's that. So you're spending quite a bit of money for what you get out of it. Now these cost a little bit more to begin with, but by the same token, I'm going to get at least 12 uses out of this than I would out of buying the big bottle. So yeah, these are handy to have these around. I just ran out of them recently. And if you're quick about it, it takes long. Each one of these has its own lid, so you seal it up properly. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll put just a little bit of greaser on the threads here, and then tighten down the cap on it, and that usually seals it up pretty good. But it doesn't take a heck of a lot of water to run through here and harden all the cyanoacrylate in here. But it does help if you put a little grease on there. And you get several uses out of each one of these, and to me it's far more economical in the long run to buy it this way than it is the other way. So yeah. Okay, another one from our buddies over on Amazon. Ah, yes, I think I know what this is. Must be. This is for our amplifier restoration project. This is speaker grill cloth. So I'll be covering up the speakers with this. I have to get it open and have a look at it. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's going to be acoustically transparent. That's pretty good cloth. Yeah, I got quite a bit here. I could do several amplifiers with it. But it's probably useful to keep around for one purpose or another. One more item from Amazon. Ah, yes, banana plugs. These are the cheap and nasty ones. They have a screw to hold the wire in. And, these should never be used in high voltage applications, because that screw, once you put the wire in there and tighten that screw down, and that screw is available. You grab it like that, and you will touch that screw. And so yeah, these are only for use in low voltage situations. I'll show you better ones that are better for high voltage. This kind here are considerably more expensive, and they have a really nice lantern on them. These ones are really fairly good quality ones. I'll leave a link to these down there as well. I think I got these off Amazon too. But these are solder in, and they'll take quite a large dimension of wire. So I usually, put number 14 or number 16 wire in there, and then you solder it in, and then it slides into this thing. It's very, very tough to get it in there, and yet generally speaking, you won't be able to get it back out again. But these then don't leave any metal to touch. So yeah, if you're going to be using anything with a considerably high voltage, these are a better option than are these. These are fine for hooking up speaker cables or for low voltage power supplies and stuff like that. Okay, this is one of 2 boxes. I got these at Newark, and what these are speakers. These are speakers to go into the amplifier I'm restoring. They're 8-inch, 8-ohm speakers. They have I think it's a 1-inch voice coil. I think it says somewhere on here, or does it? Yeah. So 8 ohms, max power or 140. They're actually 70 watts RMS. 1.5-inch voice coil, 8 ohms, and a magnet weight of 24 ounces. And the cones are polypropylene with a sealed foam surround, so they're ideal for an open back cabinet, which is exactly what you have for the amplifier. And the amplifier is the electronics is designed to drive 4 ohms. So these 2 speakers in parallel would be perfect for that. Let's see how they fit into the case, because sometimes not all 8-inch speakers are the same diameter around here, or even the same diameter on the outside. So let's see how they actually fit. Here's the case, which I have not done anything with since I last showed it to you, but I still have to finish cleaning it off. So yeah, plop that down in there like that. Oh yeah, that fits absolutely perfectly. That's nice. That's a nice fit. Let's get the other one out there. Now, when I was looking around for speakers, I found all sorts of them, as one can imagine. But Newark were the place who had the best selection. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to modify the holes just a little bit. So I'm going to have to take out a little bit here and a little bit on the other ones, because they tend to interfere with each other here. Just a little tiny bit. So I'm not going to have to do much modification there. Just kind of take maybe a 1/16 of an inch off on each side there. But other than that, I think these will do very nicely. And considering it's only a 15-watt amplifier, with the 2 of these in there, I'll have 140 watts worth of capability. I found speakers on Amazon that were kind of like this, kind of same specifications and stuff like that, and they were $31 each. I thought, well, that was actually pretty reasonable. And then I went looking around a little bit further. I went to DigiKey and to Mauser and then to Newark, and I found these on Newark for I think it's $14 each, if I remember correctly. I'll leave a link below, but I thought, wow, how can they produce a speaker like this for $14? Okay, let's connect this up. I think these have a pretty good frequency response. Yeah, I think their frequency response is something like 50 hertz to 7 kilohertz, which is ideal for a guitar amplifier. Yeah, very nice. Let's make sure the other one kind of sounds the same. Okay, here's the other one. They will do very nicely for this job. And yeah, we're working towards it. I was doing some more experimenting around with the amplifier itself, Still got some more I want to do. And if nothing's bore any fruit yet, but I'll certainly let you know if and when I do find out something new. And here's the last item I have to show you. And this one's got a pretty good backstory to it. So here it is. It's a Simpson 270, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with Simpson meters at all, but these at one time were, at least in North America, the meter to have if you were an EE or even an electrician. And this one is the big brother of the 260, or the more precise brother of the 260. It's supposed to be something like 30% more accurate. But I don't know why. Like, they came out with this one. I'm thinking around about the late 70s or early 80s or something like that, as an improvement. And I think Simpson's idea was they're going to replace the 260 with this because, you know, they had better components, better materials. But it never kind of went that way for them. The 260 is still definitely the most popular meter and continue to be than this. But I think this one was a bit more expensive. Like, you can still get these. It's the amazing thing. They're still making these. You can still get them. The 260 sells for about $675 Canadian, and this sells for around about $800 or $900 Canadian. Yeah, but you can still get them. This one has a little problem, like movement won't go all the way. But I've seen that problem before, and I think I know what it is, but I'll have to take it apart to have a look. I'm not going to do that right now, but let me tell you the backstory to this. So this comes from a company called Canron, and it was in the electrical department there. And I believe this particular model here, this one is it was from 1983 or something like that this one hit the market. It was built by Simpsons Canada. And the interesting thing is that circa 1992, I actually worked at Canron. I was between IT jobs at the time. And so I went to work for my brother-in-law, who was an electrician. And he was at Canron. And I went to work there for about a year. I, helped him out with the weekend shutdowns and weekend maintenance, and also when he went away on holidays, I'd fill in for him and stuff like that. And I actually used this meter way back then, and now it's come to me. He when he left Canron, or actually Canron themselves, went out of business. They got bought up by a company called IPEX, and IPEX kind of shut down the Clayson plant, and he was invited to take whatever he wanted out of the place, and he took this meter, and here it is. After all that time, it's come back into my hands again. That's amazing. Anyway, it's a great meter to have. I wanted to do a video on why you still need to have an analog meter. I know digital meters are, in many respects, much better meters than these, but there are cases where digital meters are just useless, and having an analog meter is a good idea. Now, I do have other analog meters. I have an analog meter that's kind of modeled after this, and that's my Kronta here. I got this in the 80s. This was the second meter I ever owned. The one I owned before this was another Micronta, which I sold in order to buy this one. And this one still works. It works perfectly. It's been with me all that time, and it still works. In some respects, it's actually a better meter than this. I'll tell you why. The specifications are as good. In fact, this is a 30,000 ohms per volt. This is I think it's only 20,000 ohms per volt. Yep. And it's the material it's made out of. It's made out of a plastic. So it's actually a little bit tougher, and that's what I think the problem is with this. That's why it's stuck. This is made out of Bakelite, and I see here it received along this edge here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it received a couple of whacks along here. And in my experience, what that does is that there's 4 screws holding this bezel on over the meter, and what that does, it can crack the little stanchions that the screws go into. And I think that's what's happened, because I've seen it happen with Simpson 260s before. So I think that's what's happened. So a little piece is broken off there, and it's gotten down into the meter movement and preventing it. It only goes up to about this point here and stops. But yeah, we'll take that apart and look at it in a video coming up. But yeah, this meter here is a really good meter. You know, it's actually got more ranges than the Simpson, and like I say, it's just as accurate, and it's made out of a much tougher material. Anyway, that's it, folks. That's all I have for you today. And you can see we've got lots of projects we're still working on, and we've got lots of videos to give you in the future. So give me a like today, subscribe to the channel, and if you got anything at all out of what I've been showing you guys, you know, you can leave me a tip on either PayPal or press the super thanks button. I'd really appreciate that. See you later, guys. Bye bye.